just gets worse and worse.
Welcome into hour 2 of the program. It doesn't actually get worse on Fridays because we're joined by Johnny Molson. Hello, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
A pleasure to have you. So we have 2 hours of ridiculousness in store for you, which we begin talking about. Now, it may not be as ridiculous as I think. I'm gonna run this by you and the listeners out there.
Okay.
Because apparently we're breaking news here. That's what we do in this particular incarnation of the morning show. We break really important news, like the fact that the Vatican is set to hold a press conference later on today. And the press conference is having to deal with supernatural phenomena, which I immediately thought, oh, are they going to, talk about somebody who's possibly going to be a new saint? Because that's part of the whole thing is miracles in order to be a saint. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Catholic supernatural phenomena, miracles, understand. No. It will touch on aliens and how it will deal with potential encounters with them in the future.
Well, and this is interesting because...
What do they know that we don't?
I know, exactly. Somebody whispered.
Yeah.
There's more of you. You weren't the only ones. You're not special. Right. I made more planets.
Uh-oh. That's going to rock our world.
It's like, oh, God, come on. We wrote this big book for you and everything.
And there's more than just us.
You said we were the only ones.
Come on.
You created it. You spoke it into existence.
Were there other ribs taken out of things to make different things?
Oh, no. I got a whole different story for that one. It was yours was good, but, man, you should see some of these other places I made.
Was there 2 of everything on an arc there, too?
Absolutely epic.
Yeah, great stuff. I actually saved the better stuff. You guys were just the children's book version of everything.
Right, yeah. I was experimenting with you guys, and then once I got it right, then I started making other plans.
You won't believe the things I have out there for you. It's going to kick off at noon with plans to present new provisions of the doctrine of the faith for discerning between apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. So it's not just on aliens, but ghosts apparently too.
Well, and one of the things people don't maybe not realize is when somebody is presented as a potential saint. I don't know why. That's got a name, right? It's got a name when they're...
Yeah, I should know it. I went to Catholic schools from first grade through the canonization process.
Yeah, whatever the
canonization process. We'll go with that.
Somebody says, hey, this person saw a miracle or performed a miracle or something, is that there are people at the Vatican whose whole job is to disprove it.
Correct.
They go through the scientific method and say, well, it could be explained by 7 dozen things, and then the person doesn't get to become a saint. It's only when they go through that whole process, when they go, we got no other explanation that can be explained in a worldly manner,
right,
that the person then becomes considered to be a saint, which I think is kind of interesting when you think about it. It's not, hey, you just can't just walk in there and say,
right, exactly.
Do a magic trick for the Pope. Right. I found a quarter behind your ear.
Oh my God.
You're a saint.
You made it appear out of thin air. Is this your card, Pope? Is this your card?
Hey, get him the trophy. He's a saint now.
Yeah, put the other halo around him on the mosaic over there. He a saint now. Ah, look at that.
Right.
But they must know something then.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. They say the press conference will see new guidelines launch on how the Vatican will deal with aliens and phenomena created by them or alleged aliens as well. It's just weird that it's happening now. Like, what do they know that we don't? That they're like, we better call a press conference for this just in case.
And I wonder if if the aliens are circling around and they see this big opulent place sitting in the middle of Rome, and they go, they must know something. They must be the ones. They appear to be the kings of everything, right? I mean, when you consider how huge the Vatican is, and the gold, and
everything, right, exactly,
the pretty and everything. If you're an alien coming to town, you go, oh, that's the place.
And if you're also an alien looking around, going, we must judge the world leaders by size of hats.
Yeah.
Then obviously they go, that is your world leader as well.
One of the things, because of the time it changed, the looks like the press conference has already happened.
I was going to say,
but they're also revamping the vetting process for what constitutes seeing Mary.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you can't see it in your toast anymore,
right?
That's out the window. It's got to be more substantial than I saw Mary in my Eggo.
So one of the biggest novelties is that in order to prevent delays in the vetting process for alleged apparitions, the discernment process will end not with the declaration of the supernatural. Rather, 6 different prudential conclusions will be given depending on the case.
Okay.
As a rule, these conclusions do not include the possibility of declaring that the phenomenon under discernment is of supernatural origin, is affirming morality and decision of the God in a direct way. He explained that the decision was made largely on grounds that a ruling on alleged supernatural phenomena would be reached faster, which is especially important in the digital age to avoid any confusion. And I would imagine
we got to get to it quick before it spreads around TikTok that Mary's in this tortilla chip.
Right.
We better take care of that quickly.
Yeah, and I mean now with AI art and everything,
that's true.
Mary can be hanging out any place.
Yeah, she can appear in the background of the Motley Crue album cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that seems to be part of it.
Okay. What do they get into to the aliens? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
here real quick,
I'm scanning this real quickly because it just came out here in the last hour or so.
Yeah, I forgot about the time change as far as when that press conference would be. But it just kind of threw me for a loop that the Pope and the Vatican are like, hey, we got to call a press conference about how do we deal with these aliens if and when they show up. We got to know what procedures we're going to go through here. As far as the Pope and the rest of the Vatican goes.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're putting aliens under supernatural.
That's what they were saying. Because it was supernatural phenomena.
Right.
Is what they said. It will see new guidelines launch on how the Vatican will deal with aliens and phenomena created by them.
I like the way the headline from the New York Sun, one of the 2 big tabloids in New York.
I'm sure.
It says, this is the way they wrote the headline, Pope set to hold press conference on aliens and the supernatural. Okay, the Pope didn't hold the press conference. It's not like he didn't walk up to a podium and start taking questions.
It wasn't like a post game with like LeBron James where the Pope walks out. Right. Like, how'd you feel after that mass, Pope? Well, it was, a little dicey there.
Jake Tapper from CNN. What is your question?
What's your question?
Rachel Amada, what do you want to know? What can I do for you?
OAN, Newsmax. We're a little skeptical about the credentials, but what do you have to say?
Sean Hannity, shut your mouth.
Exactly.
Hey, you talk too much.
Yes. Ari Melber, what are you doing here? Haven't seen you in forever. That's not how it rolled. So, yes. Well, if you want to read more in depth,
I'll keep looking for anything on aliens, but
right, yeah.
I think maybe the internet media is being generous by attaching aliens to supernatural phenomena.
Right. I think as a side note, it's probably just like if aliens were to come down and the Pope were to be asked to be a part of the conversation with them, the Pope would say yes.
You're so tiny and so gray. What? You don't eat much. Why you head so big?
Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.
You only got the 4 fingers. What is this?
Oh, so yes.
Don't touch me with your light up finger. I don't like that.
You want the phone home? Well, here's my phone right here. Where in the directory is it? I got everybody in here. You want the interview with Jake Tapper? I know him personally. Here we go.
Why you eat that one black guy in the movie? He was the funny one.
Exactly. Well, wait a second.
He was the comic relief. Why do you eat him? I don't understand this.
I love how all the Pope's references are just other movies about aliens. And by the way, why you come out the chest? There's so many different ways to...
The man was eating a nice soup, and then you interrupted the meal.
He's right in front of the...
Why you do this?
Right in front of the minestrone, and then next thing you know, boom, here come the alien.
Nobody able to finish their meal.
Hamburger. It is Mike and Molson with you here on this Friday, May the 17th. Thanks for tuning in. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. You want to join in the conversation. Lifehacker.com came up with a list of 50 basically perfect movies, in their opinion. Now, I don't know exactly what their criteria is, but for each movie on this list, which we'll not go through all 50 of them, but for each movie, they have a little bit of why they call it a perfect movie. And it runs the gamut. It's not just like, 80s and forward. It goes all the way back to the 1940s and everywhere in between. So we'll go through a couple of them, one of which I don't think you'll agree with. I know for certain you won't agree with that it's a perfect movie. But we'll begin with...
Is Ben Stiller in it? Is that why?
No. Well, I don't know. I only got through the 90s. Zoolander may make the list, and if it does, then this list immediately gets torched. But we'll begin with a Clint Eastwood classic. They say The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. is basically a perfect movie. They say Sergio Leone's epic film unwinds the entire cinematic mythos of American West, presenting cowboys as grime-covered demigods or living ideals, locked in eternal struggle, unconcerned with the affairs of mere mortals. The combination of the unforgettable score, perfectly cast actors, and visionary cinematography and editing add up to one of the biggest movies ever filmed. Would you agree?
I'm trying to remember if I've seen this one. I know the movie, of course.
Everyone knows the
right. And if I've seen it, it's been years, but I can see where they're going with that. I mean, obviously a classic.
Bride of Frankenstein, they say, from 1935.
Bride of Frankenstein, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, they say just when he thought he was out, Dr. Frankenstein gets pulled back in. Director James Whale followed up what would have been the greatest of the monster movies and one of the most impressive feats in American cinema history. Something altogether funnier, weirder, and deeply more queer and gay icon Ernest Thysger prancing through the Gothic sets, offering rejoinders and seducing his old protege into reanimating the dead just one more time.
One of these situations, like an Empire Strikes Back scenario, where it's like the sequel is better than the original.
Yeah, Citizen Kane, I think.
Citizen Kane,
a lot of favorites. People, is it?
Yeah, definitely.
I had to watch it in high school for one of our classes. I didn't get all the hype. And I don't know if maybe it was overhyped by that time of everyone saying it's the greatest thing of film ever. It was well done, but I guess it just didn't hit for me as much as it does for other people.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and definitely it's always the one that sits at the top of the lists whenever these lists come out as the greatest movie of all time, and so you're really expecting something, and it's, I think when you what was it, 1940, 1941?
1941 it came out,
So when you look at movies that were being made around it, it could not have looked more different, felt more different. The satire that's in there. The jabs that it's taking at the
I forget about
press,
that. Yeah,
particularly in the beginnings of World War II. So it has a lot of things going on besides just the movie itself. But I understand why. Yeah, if you just walk it in cold and not knowing what you're looking at.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they had the context a little bit because I think it was for a history class. Yeah. But yeah, and and I'm not going to. It's for what it is, especially when you think of 1941 and the way it was shot and everything else and the scope. It is pretty impressive. They also have Casablanca on this list of perfect movies from 1942. They say Casablanca is a product of golden age Hollywood, a slick movie, no doubt, which makes it easy to underrate. From its opening chase through the streets of the title city to the poignant and all-time memorable ending, there's nothing here that doesn't work brilliantly with off-the-charts chemistry among the main characters, not just Bogart and Bergman.
And kind of like Citizen Kane, I think it's one of those things that holds up. It doesn't look like although it's a period piece, it doesn't look like it's an old movie. It doesn't read like an old movie. It's just a solid story.
Another one they have on the list, Rear Window. Mm-hmm. They say a movie about watching movies. Hitchcock's classic is as meticulous as anything he ever produced, but takes a delight in tweaking its audience for its own voyeuristic tendencies.
Hitch was good at that.
Yeah, he was very good at that. We're talking about this list, and we'll post it on the Mike Wimmacher Show Facebook page as well, of the 50 almost perfect movies, or basically perfect movies, according to Lifehacker. Interesting, we just talked about Alien coming out of the chest. Alien from 1979 does make this list. They say a B-movie premise produced with top talent, the science fiction horror hybrid Alien is a masterpiece of both genres. The cast is an all-time great assembly of actors who would shortly become legends, all of whom managed to convincingly portray blue-collar workers forced to survive with absolutely no help from their employer.
It's one of those that I went back and watched recently, and it does. It holds up. It's still good. It's still scary.
And the franchise is still going on. They're going to have a new one later this summer, Alien Romulus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Here's the one I don't know if you'll agree with, probably because you have no point of reference on it, Back to the Future.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, they say a masterclass in screenwriting. The Back to the Future script pays off every joke and plot point, balancing the arcs of different versions of dozens of characters across multiple timelines without ever dropping any of the balls.
I gotta catch this one of these days.
Yeah, exactly. You may want to check that one out. They said that alone might earn its reputation for flawlessness, but the movie probably wouldn't be as beloved without the manic energy of Christopher Lloyd and the loose and light touch of Michael J. Fox at his 80s coolest, each bringing personality and style to balance the machinations of the film's finicky and naughty script. So Back to the Future on there. When Harry Met Sally, Is that a basically perfect movie? They have that on the list.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you want a center point in the universe of the rom-com, it's probably When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah. Also, hitting on a couple other ones here before we go to news. Home Alone. I don't know if I don't know if I would say Home Alone is a basically perfect movie. But they even say, I'm going to get some crap for this one, but after countless seasonal viewings, I contend that this cartoonishly violent Christmas classic flawlessly executed its mission, which is probably why we're still watching Kevin slap his hands against his face 32 years later.
And I guess if one of the criteria here is that it, there's no dead spots. There's no parts where it's like, all right, let's get through this thing.
Right. Very true. They also have Groundhog Day on the list. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Some of the other ones on here. Going through The Princess Bride.
Cool. I mean, the last 3-4 you mentioned are comedies.
Yeah, exactly.
And that doesn't usually show up on lists like this.
No. Princess Bride, I would totally agree with. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. There's other ones I don't really have point of reference on. Halloween, the original Halloween from 1978. Eve's Bayou from 1997, an interesting choice. The Truman Show also makes this list. Yeah. So good stuff here. We'll
that's a healthy list. I like this.
Yeah, The Matrix is on there as well. Spirited Away.
Spirited Away is fantastic.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Another great one.
I love.
This is a good list. This is a good list.
I love how and it's crossing decades. It's not just saying basically movie making started in 1980 something and everything else was crap.
This is great if you're stuck for something to watch this weekend.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's something on this list you haven't seen. Yep. Just grab something and see if it works for you.
Yeah, go over to the Mike Wittmacher Show. Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY on this Friday, May the 17th. Thanks for stopping by, joining us. What qualities do you look for in a friend? Is the question at hand at 217-629-7970. Because according to...
Don't bother me.
Don't be so clingy.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, that is kind of...
I always wanted to do stuff.
And there is it takes a while to get to that place in a friendship where you understand that certain friends don't like to go out. And don't guilt them into going out.
Right.
If they say they don't want to, don't be like, but come on, it's going to be fun. Yeah. No, I don't. But you're going to miss out on. Some people just don't like that. And when you get to that place where you understand it, that's where the true friendship lies.
Fair.
But 217-629-7970, what do you look for in friendship and in a friend? Because they've done a recent study that found the qualities we prioritize in our friends. And a majority of them, I think, all make sense. But one in particular that's kind of at the top of the list, to me, I understand why it's there, but just the word itself throws me off a little bit. Because the word is loyalty. And to me, you want a friend that's loyal. I get it, but loyalty is such a strong word. Like I feel more of it to me.
Too much of a commitment for you?
Well, yeah. I mean, it just kind of feels
what if I want to lie?
Like right behind loyalty is fealty, and I don't feel like I need my friends to feel like I am a leader that they must bow down to and constantly be loyal to.
Oh, that's a heck of a leap, Mike.
But when I see that word, that's what I think.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like loyal, and maybe I'm wrong, but I understand why you want a friend that's going to be loyal to you and not stab you in the back. I understand that. Yeah. But to me, it's just compared to some of the other ones like reliability and trustworthiness.
Right.
That to me is like is a not lesser, but it's easier for me to wrap my head around and be like, okay, cool. Okay. Instead of like, my friends must be loyal. No, I must have loyalty in my friends. Yeah. They must bow down to me and be loyal to all my whims whenever I do something.
I think you're adding to the word loyalty definition that's not there.
Okay. I'm putting too much on it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you said it. It's not stabbing you in the back. If I tell you something in confidence, you're not going to go blab it to people.
Right.
If I need you, I can count on you. I mean, that's loyalty. That's not.
Yeah, I guess I am.
It's not blind loyalty.
True. Had it said blind loyalty, I guess that'd be what I'm talking about. But it's being a good friend. I guess a good friend is always loyal.
Settle down. Geez.
I'm sorry. I just jumped to the conclusion there. But some of the other ones, like I said, reliability. I think is an important one. If you say you're going to be there, be there. Trustworthiness, I think that goes with the loyalty. Honesty, those are the ones that were deemed essential or necessities in friendship. So in the hierarchy of what you're looking for in a friend, the essential ones that non-negotiables were loyalty, reliability, trustworthiness, and honesty. I think that kind of plays, right?
Sounds like a dog. You can get a dog and just do the same thing.
I thought the exact same thing, too, of just like when I think loyalty, too, of like, oh, my loyal companion, my dog over here. Meanwhile, traits like being forgiving, sharing information, emotional intelligence, and conscientiousness about debt are considered luxuries. So those aren't non-negotiables, but those are a luxury if you have those in a friend.
Does this now raise the bar too high?
Oh, interesting.
To just being, to just be hanging out with people and being friends with somebody. I mean, is it you've got to meet all of these criteria? I mean, I don't know, man.
I guess that's a great question too. 217-629-7970. Is there a checklist you go through? To me, it's just like, do you get along with someone? Do you have a decent relationship? Like, you can kind of tell individuals that are going to be friends as opposed to those who are just going to be acquaintances.
Right.
Because we all have those people that we hang out with that we're not going to tell them our deepest secrets or ask them for advice, but they're still a fun person to hang around with.
Yeah.
So there is that line of delineation, I think, between someone you hang with and someone you call a close friend. Hi, you're on WMAY.
Good morning and happy Friday to you both.
Happy Friday to you.
Thank you. So I have friends and then I have close friends.
Okay.
Right.
And, I think when it comes to friends, it's like you said, the dependability is one thing, and being honest with one another, just being real with one another. And the other thing is that I don't know if you've ever had roommates in the past. You notice everybody has their own individual ways and things, and sometimes in class. And I think tolerance is another thing.
Yeah,
true.
And I have a friend, and she loves like Zumba. I don't like Zumba at all, but that is her life. She teaches it and everything. I like things like pickleball. She doesn't like pickleball. I love cats and dogs. She doesn't like animals at all. So it gets back a lot of times to just the common bond you have with your friends, because you're dealing with the human race, and we all have our own likes and dislikes, things like that. But the bottom.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I guess I would add to that the ability to be okay with those differences.
Correct.
I mean, if you want to go play pickleball and she doesn't, it's not a thing.
Right, and you accept that, and you praise the person for their likes and things like that.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is the common bond, the friendship. I think that's the whole of it. And it's just a good thing when you have good friends. And I think, another thing I just want to say, I think in this whole world today with everything's going on, we all just need to show kindness to one another, show kindness to strangers. We don't know what people are going through in life. Life is hard. And I think that's a good thing, too, is just showing kindness to all people. And sometimes when you do that, you might make some new friends.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Appreciate the phone call, and I think you're definitely onto something. Just try to be nice. Yeah, it's a great call. You just need to be nicer, and I think something that she hit upon there that's also key to friendship is acceptance and compromise. Like understanding that your friend isn't going to love the same movies you may. There may be some meeting in the middle, but you're not always going to love everything, the same things, and you shouldn't just be like, well, that's it. You don't like this, we're done. That shouldn't be the way it goes either. Right.
And so what do you do in these situations, and this is probably more with an acquaintance than a friend necessarily, but where you're having a conversation, it's like, okay, my glass is full. I've got nothing else to say. I'm out of topics. It's not interesting to me anymore. What do you do?
Yeah. You change.
You're no longer interesting to me.
Right. Yeah. That's a difficult one to try to get away from. You're right. I think you can tell a true friend when the next thing you know after hanging out, it's like 3 to 4 hours later, and it doesn't even feel like you've scratched the surface. And I think that's a good way to tell a true friend from an acquaintance. To your point, an acquaintance is we hit a lull, and it's just kind of you sit there like, so, hey.
Right.
That kind of thing. So interesting. Appreciate the phone call. It is Mike Whitmacher with you here on WMAY alongside Johnny Molson. We will take a break for news. When we come back, I find this hard to believe or wrap my head around just how long a streak this gentleman went on for perfect attendance at work. It is Mike and Molson with you on this Friday morning, May the 17th. Hope your Friday's off to a good start. And if you're anything like Bill Bruneel, you are going to work for a very long consecutive amount of days. This gentleman is a bank employee from Lodi, California, who is 75 years old. He's getting ready to retire finally.
Is that anywhere near Lodi?
Oh, I guess it is Lodi. I thought it was Lodi. There was a wrestler back in the day named Lodi, spelled the same way. I assume that was a pronunciation.
I think it's Lodi. But
you know what? That sounds better actually. So yeah, Lodi, California. So he's 75, getting ready to retire. How many consecutive days of work do you think Mr. Bruneel has going? What's his streak?
Before you tell me, did he intend to do this, or did it just sort of happen this way? Do we know the answer to that?
It doesn't really go into the details of that, but I will say,
because I could see a person going for 4 years or so and being all right and not taking a sick day or anything.
This is no sick day and no vacation day.
No vacation?
Yeah, this is not a single day off or calling in sick. Not a vacation day or a sick day for this gentleman.
Did he come in on Memorial Day and President's Day, too? Probably. He sounds like one of those guys.
Well, I mean, bank holidays, he probably wouldn't be there because he worked at the bank.
I bet he... No, but
you think he still went in there?
I think he probably went in there and said...
He probably did. I got some extra work to do. Yeah. How long do you think consecutively for
Well,
this guy?
I said 4 or 5 years before something...
47.
Man, oh, man.
47 years, never missing a single day of work. Not sick, not a vacation day. 47 friggin' years.
Is that
for
a
Bill
flex?
Bruneel. I don't know if it is.
I don't know if it is either.
I with no vacation days, that's not a flex.
No.
You need some time, because I don't care if you are the strong. Apparently, you must be the strongest man alive or have the greatest immune system. How many people did he get sick at some point over the years? Coming in 47 years of just not having a head cold or not feeling off a bit for 47 years? Yeah,
that's really surprising to me. I mean, it's been a while since I've had anything really take me down, where I thought, man, I just can't do it. And it's not anything other than I don't know if it's... I work alone, so I don't really catch things.
I don't know how admirable it really is in the grand scheme of things to not even take a vacation day.
To not take a vacation day, that's...
I mean, I salute you, Bill Bruneel.
Sad.
But you're right. You're 75 years old now, and I understand having a purpose. I understand a job gives you purpose, and he must love his job. You would assume to not miss a day for 47 years.
Now, is he working for one of these companies, though, where all the vacation is getting banked up so that the day he retires, they've got to write him a huge check?
I don't know. Do they have to do that?
I mean, I've seen that happen at some companies where they have to...
Oh, okay. They have to pay out the vacation days?
Vacation days.
Bill's just been living fast and loose with his money going, I have all these vacation days they're going to pay for me. I don't need a 401k. I'm banking these SOBs.
Playing the long game, yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
I don't know.
By the way, that's not even the longest streak he's got going in his life, because he also coaches Little League Baseball and has been doing that longer than he's been working, and he's never skipped a game or a practice either. What is with this guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he an anomaly?
Yeah, he's a robot.
He's got to be. He's
a cyborg of some sort.
I salute him, but there's something to be said for just giving yourself a day. Does it maybe speak to... I hate to downplay it, but is his job that difficult that he doesn't get stressed out? You know what I'm saying? Like the work-life balance, I guess. Like, what's his wife got to say about all this? Like, has she never wanted to go on vacation at 75?
If you're his boss or his coworkers, don't you at some point just go, would you just get out of here? Now you're starting to bug me. You hear so much, it's really starting to bug me. Just go for a couple of days.
Because I'm worried about Bill now in a retirement of if this has been a thing that he's done for so long, how is he going to deal with not going to it?
That's a good point, too.
Because he says he's now being retired. He's planning on more family time and more traveling to see his 4 children and 8 grandchildren. But is that going to satisfy Bill enough?
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
this
know,
is a guy who must live and die. I'm ridiculous with my schedules, like the way things go. But I feel like Bill's going to be lost now at 75 of like, I don't know what to do with myself. Hi, on WMAY.
Well, I disagree with you on whether or not he's going to be lost, because when he retires, he'll have plenty of things he wants to do. But this is, and I do not mean this with any offense at all, Greg, because you are the hardest working man in show business and radio.
Greg?
But this is a generational thing.
Bishop does a really good job.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mike.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. It's one of those mornings, you know.
Yeah. But anyway,
Bishop,
continue
on the
on.
other end, he does a job. Anyway, this is a generational thing that I'm a generation older than you are. In my entire life, I have been sick 5 days. 3 of them were with the 3-day measles.
Wow.
And I'm 63. It's just the way it goes with our generation.
Yeah, and I understand
We
that.
work hard.
And I think we've all done that. Where you go, it's like I think I can power through this thing. I'm not that sick. I don't want to, I don't want to stay home. And I understand just the work ethic part of it. I can get on board with that. It does seem strange though that at no point he ever flamed out and said, I just got to take a day off.
Yeah, I understand.
And there's no crime in that. That shouldn't be. You shouldn't look down on somebody because they want to take a vacation.
Yeah, I understand it's a generational thing, and I understand.
Kind of though.
I understand fighting through and not wanting to take a sick day, right?
We've all done it.
I get that, where you go, okay, I feel bad because somebody else at work's going to have to do more. The thing that throws me for a loop in this is not a vacation day either.
Right.
I'm not taking a single day to just go and do something and get away, or taking an extra day after more of like going anywhere. I understand enjoying where you live and wanting to just kind of maybe take a day trip, but not a single vacation day in 47 years?
Did nobody die? Did he?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
He's 75. I don't suspect his parents are still around. Don't you?
I guess you'd have to work around Bill's schedule. Be like, we'd love to have the visitation or the funeral.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't do it.
Sorry, banker's hours. Can you start at 4:30?
Can you do it at 4:30, or can we get it in a 5 a.m. burial because I got to get to work by 7 to count the stuff? I'm sorry. I know it's dark, but can we do it now? So I got a streak going on.
Did nobody get married? Did nobody have a baby?
We're thinking about a Thursday wedding for a cheaper price. Nope, Bill's not coming. Can't do a Thursday wedding unless it's at 5:30 because I'd be off work by then.
And he had no wanderlust. He didn't want to go see something and take a long weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an unusual. I think that's beyond work ethic, and it's just sad. I think
it kind of is. Bill, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
Way to be on that streak.
You're retired. Go somewhere cool.
I hope you find your bliss. I hope you don't freak out like those first couple of days. The first 2 weeks he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But month in, I pity his wife.
He's going to rent an Airbnb in the next county and lose his mind. He's not going to know what to do.
What is this?
This exotic world I'm in.
Has he ever been to a hotel?
Right.
Someone else slept here before? I don't know. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even sound like he could even go to another state because it would take too long.
Right. Amusement park. It is Mike and Molson with you here on this Friday morning, May the 17th, last hour of the program. Oh, don't forget, by the way, the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, a new episode later on today.
How could you forget?
That's right. I don't let you forget because I do this every time I mention it.
As well.
Like Pavlov's dog. Make sure
Angel gets its wings.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you download our podcast, that's what happens. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and like Mike and Molson on Facebook as well. Elon Musk, who we're not going to get into the ins and outs of what you think of Elon Musk, but he did say that he believes that humans could be living in a city on Mars within the next 30 years. Does that track to you? At 217-629-7970. And are you willing to be one of those first people to go to Mars to live there? Is that something you'd be cool with? I thought it was supposed to happen sooner than this. It was. It was like we were promised by like 2025, wasn't it?
Now, so.
Yeah, he says we are just a few years away from landing on Mars, which I thought we were always supposed to.
Yeah, I mean that's supposed to happen before this decade ends.
He said less than 5 years.
Before the end of this decade.
Less than 5 years for uncrewed, he says. Less than 10 to land people. And maybe a city in 20 years, but for sure in 30, civilization secured. Is that alluring to anybody? Do you believe that? Do you want to? Because it's not an easy trip.
It's not an easy trip. I'm intrigued by it, but there's also the part of me that goes, okay, and then what? So you set up camp on Mars. You're now living there, and now what? I mean, it's like,
yeah,
there's nothing there. There's nothing going on.
Right. Yeah. Because if you just build a city, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then don't you have to
And how many are we talking about? I mean, 90 people? It's not...
Yeah, very true. In 30 years, because that's true. I didn't think about that.
You're going to get bored with everybody, I think.
Because as of right now, it's not like we have with our space shuttles and stuff. I don't think we have the ability to carry like 127 people on a flight, do we?
No.
So it's a very small percentage. So you better like the actual people that are going there.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a while before the next group show up. So you're going to be stuck with individuals, like 10 of you, in a small little, probably, 1 block radius? Like, what kind of city or civilization are we talking about in 30 years?
Now, this is a place where I can understand working for 47 years and not taking a vacation.
Because there's nowhere to go.
You got to go.
Exactly. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to go to Mars North.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the north end of Mars, see what's going on over there.
There's not a bridge or a monument.
Right, exactly. There's not the Grand Canyon. I mean, I guess you could check out the craters, that kind of thing. Yeah, the pool. So I understand what he's trying to say, but I don't really have any want to be one of the individuals who are part of the Mars civilization.
And, this is obviously, and not just Elon Musk, but it's talked about a lot about setting up civilization, living on Mars, living on the moon and everything. And you start to go, all right, what is this rush to get off this planet? Is there something going on? I mean, I know things aren't great. And we got some issues that we need to work out. But it's like, why are we so hell-bent on not being here?
And now all of a sudden,
is something going on that we got to get out of here in the next 30 years?
Yeah.
Seems a little weird, doesn't it?
It does. And not only that, but now it seems to what we started the show with the Vatican press conference on aliens.
Right.
Are the people higher up than us onto something of like, we need to know how to interact with aliens, and now we're going to get to Mars in 30 years.
I don't like the conspiracy thing, but there's something.
No, I don't either.
There's something not right about all this conversation about getting off this planet.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
We have to. We got it. We got to do it
for
the sake of the civilization. We've got to go someplace. Why?
Why do we have to do that?
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't want any part of being one of the Mars people. Hi, you're on WMAY.
No, thank you. No internet. No cable. No running water. No.
And you know what?
Not doing it.
I've seen Martian porn, and it doesn't really hold up.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't hold up.
I appreciate the phone call. Yeah. I don't want any part of that. Also, going outside on Mars, it's colder there, right? Isn't it? It's farther away from the sun. I'm going to have to try to use a can you imagine a Mars porta potty? We know how disgusting it is here on Earth. Hi, you're on WMAY.
Yeah, so the internet thing, you're not going to have time to fraternize or anything like that. You're going to get put to work and put to work hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the whole point of going to Mars is to colonize it. And if there's nothing there, guess who's building everything?
You.
It's basically it's the Donner Party, right? We're all just going to go there and eat each other and die.
And it's with the Armageddon crew.
Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly what it is. Okay, you guys don't have to pay taxes, but you got to go to Mars and build everything now. Maybe drill a little bit. We'll see what actually happens.
Right.
But have you heard the other conspiracy theory about the South Pole?
No.
So apparently the South Pole, if you look on Google Maps, a lot of it is actually blacked out.
Okay.
And so apparently a good 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer area of the direct South Pole is an energy weapon.
Neat.
Oh, wow, neat. So awesome.
And there's also a bunch of other random TikTok, YouTube videos out there that have, of course, the one guy that got out of it and is like, yes, it actually is a plethora or utopia of green and everything like that if you go far enough down in the South Pole, and then everything is just great, and the technology is like 20 years ahead of its time and everything.
It's Wakanda?
Are we living on the Death Star?
Yeah, exactly.
That's no moon.
There's a small exhaust port in the South Pole. We better make sure we cover that up. Thank you. Thank you, EJ.
The FCC does not let you say small exhaust port on the South Pole. You cannot say that on the radio. Dump that. We cannot have that on the radio. That's ridiculous.
That's part of Martian porn. That's part of alien porn.
The exhaust port
at
on
the South Pole. Got it pinpointed.
Just filthy.
Yeah, exactly. I shot Womrats back in the day with my T-16 Cruiser. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know if I buy it within 30 years. I know I don't want to be any part of it. I just, are we going to have the Habitat for Humanity? Like, is Jimmy Carter going to be preserved to go there? And he'll be one of the first people to drive a nail into one of the, buildings, the homes on Mars? I'm not quite sure.
I got questions.
I do too. And we don't have any answers for them. We'll take a break. When we come back, there is a story about a individual who has the means and is trying to bully a woman into giving. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY on this Friday morning, May the 17th. 217-629-7970 is the phone number to join in the conversation. This is a story from Instagram where this influencer marries a billionaire and then her name changes. And all of a sudden, because she's an influencer and now she has a different last name, she sees that there's someone else out there in the world that has her name and has an Instagram account. So she gets a little upset and wants to get that Instagram account from that particular individual whose name she now shares because she got married.
Is it a real common name that she should have known? She should have seen this coming?
No. This billionaire's new wife has gone viral after she apparently tried to bully a woman who shares her new name into selling her Instagram handle. Catherine Asplund. Asplundh. Formerly Driscoll, married Cabot Asplund, 27, of Pennsylvania, a billionaire family down in Florida. After the happy couple exchanged vows, Catherine, an influencer with over... Now, here's the thing. I don't think you can call someone an influencer who has over 14,600 Instagram followers.
What is she influencing?
That's not really an influencer, is it? That's being very generous with the term influencer. I'm not saying it's nothing because, quite frankly, I think maybe I have an Instagram I barely post on and I have 5 followers, maybe, if that. But 14,600 Instagram followers isn't exactly bringing home the bacon,
right?
In the grand scheme of things. She attempted to change her handle from @CatherineDrisk to @Catherine Asplund, but her desired username was already in use. That's when...
Just for point of reference, though, it's double the amount of people who are following the WMAY Facebook page. So she might actually be more influential than we realize.
Well, that's not hard. It's not difficult. I'm not surprised by that.
I'm just pointing that out.
Probably someone who just continues to do the Tide Pod challenge probably has more followers than the MAY Facebook page.
So maybe we need to step it up.
Yeah, we may want to step it up just a bit. So at that point, the former Catherine Driscoll, who now shares the name with the plebeian, who is not apparently an influencer, she doesn't have 14,000 followers, she contacted the account owner, a woman who goes by Kate, to ask if she could purchase the handle. Practice that's in direct violation of Instagram's terms of service. You can't because they
selling your handle.
Yeah, because they don't want people to go on and just take all these other ones and then use it to sell to different celebrities, all that kind of thing. So Kate refused and explained how she feared selling the username would get her then banned from Instagram. So the woman who's got that handle is like, I don't know about all this. In a now viral exchange, Catherine can be seen messaging an anonymous user believed to be Kate, asking if she could purchase her Instagram handle. Starts off, "Hi, I was wondering if I could purchase your username from you. Just got married, and this is my new name." Individual replies, "That's my name too. I just Googled, and it said selling my username would get me banned from Instagram." They push back. "I purchased my username in the past, actually. That's not true. Celebrities do it all the time. That's how all their handles are their full names." "So weird. I didn't know there was another person out there with this family name. I see that you're not that active on here, but started Instagram in 2018, but changed your username 3 times. Is there any way I can get you to change your username one more time? So back and forth they go.
That's crazy.
The original person responds saying, basically, the conversation turned sour with Catherine seemingly questioning Kate's identity. I actually don't believe your name is that. Who would make their... And so it just goes back and forth to the point where this woman is then bullying into saying, hey, I have influence. I have more followers than you do, so I deserve it more than you do.
Are you able to roll your brain back to, say, 2007, like before social media really had its big launch in 06, 07, 08, somewhere around there when it really started.
When it was just MySpace,
it was just kind of.
And your top 8 was the biggest.
I mean, can you roll your brain back to a time and try to figure out what people took as seriously as something like this, that you would expend energy debating, that you would fight over this thing, that it would become a national story?
Isn't it?
Who took something that... I mean, what was it that we took that seriously before we took this so seriously? Because, boy, we put a lot of eggs in our social media basket.
We really do.
We really take it seriously.
Back then, I think the biggest thing was, were you on hotornot.com or all, and what your aggregate score was. And even then, he didn't take that seriously.
I mean, it is such a... she is treating this like it is property as serious as her literal name.
And not only that, but...
Can you just write the real...
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Windmacher and you're done with it?
And be done. Right. Well, and if you already have close to 15,000 followers on the old account.
The real Ass Blund or whatever her name is.
Right, exactly. Ass Pluned or whatever it is. Wouldn't that confuse your followers? Like, can you just then migrate them over? Like, I don't know how it works. If you change the handle, will you then have to migrate your followers to be like, oh, by the way, at Catherine Drisk is now at Catherine Asplund or whatever, Asplund or whatever, and migrate them over to the new one?
Well, a story from a week or two ago of Emma Stone she wants to be Emily Stone, right?
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
I didn't see that. My girl?
Yeah.
Oh, I should be more up on her news.
She said she's done. I think it was Emma Stone.
She's my hall pass. I should know about this.
That she regrets that she ever went by Emma.
Oh yeah, because that's not her. Yeah, I know that.
And she would rather be Emma. But no one's going to do that.
No one's going to do that. Yeah.
Sorry, John Cougar. You're always John Cougar.
Right.
Shut up.
Exactly. The time has passed. You're always going to be the Coug to people.
Right.
And by the way, why do you get so? Shouldn't it just be to your point about before the internet, of like taking things so seriously? Don't you reach out? They say no, and you go, okay.
Yeah. I'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out somehow. You don't have to try to bully them. And just because you have the money and the means to be like, well, I'm deserving of it. Are you really?
Nah.
No, you're not. Hi, on WMAY.
Well, I can kind of feel with her a little bit. I've spent, I don't know how long building this following I have as an influencer. And if I were to change my name, I would run a risk of losing all 3 followers that I have.
It's tough. It's tough out there.
It's hard to get them, and once you get them, you don't want to change your name. I think if she's that big and important with her 14,000 people, that she could jeopardize her career as an influencer.
She could.
Yeah.
She very well could. I just remembered a story when I first got on AOL. I had the handle Marconi.
Oh, look at you!
Because I was in radio.
Because you're an award winner.
No,
just because you're in radio. Yeah,
radio.
Yeah, the historical value of it. Okay,
invented radio.
Yeah.
So I just used the handle Marconi, and a few years into it, I start getting these weird messages from these people, and apparently there was some radio guy in Seattle who went by the name I'm Marconi on the radio.
Was he Mark Coney though?
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
But anyway,
but he was really upset that I had that AOL handle. And
did he offer you a nice sum of money?
No, but he sent 20 or 30 listeners to send me emails saying give up your name. And I just remember that story. I forgot completely about that. So, I don't want to.
No, I don't want to. And it just shows the influence of that gentleman too.
I don't want to.
the fact that he got 20 or 30?
I should offer to him now. You can have Marconi at AOL.com.
Yeah, if you'd like it now, go right ahead. I wonder if he's even still alive.
I don't know.
Yeah, considering that was his handle. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY, although he's probably got more followers than we do. We'll take a break for news, and when we come back, did you know that the guys who... It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY on this Friday, May 17th. So, remember that situation where that ship blasted into that bridge in Baltimore?
Oh, yeah.
Making it collapse? Well, that happened on March 26th. Those dudes are still on the ship. The crew of that ship.
I guess it didn't occur to me that the ship is still there.
Yeah, because they're still kind of maneuvering things around and whatever. So now maritime unions are calling for the 21 seamen still stranded on board the
You really didn't have to highlight that. That was really completely unnecessary. You juvenile ass. There was no reason for that.
I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. 12-year-old me said, hey, this is a career highlight. If this is the last thing you ever say on this radio station, because you're going on vacation next week, and they may find someone permanent in the interim, you really got to nail it home of how juvenile your show really is.
Sakes.
I'll try to be more professional going on. Anyway, the 21 dudes are still on board the ship 7 weeks after the crash. They say basically 2 Singaporean maritime unions say they are deeply concerned about the criminalization of the individuals and the emotional distress it's causing. They said in a May 11 statement that morale has understandably dipped. You think? You've been living on this thing for a long-ass time due to unfounded fear of criminal liability, which is causing emotional distress. This is compounded by lost communication with family members due to their mobile devices being confiscated as part of the investigation. That's part of it, is they're going through the investigative process of why exactly this ship crashed into the bridge. And so they can't leave because they're from a different country aboard this ship. So they're afraid that they would never be able to talk to them and interview them to exactly why. So that's why they're having to stay on the ship.
So they may be, they're probably on the ship because it's considered sovereign, and the minute they step off, now they're on American soil. Maybe. I don't know. I'm making assumptions.
It's part of that, and also part of the fact that they're afraid that if they get off the ship, that then they'll want to go home, and they won't be able to bring them back. It won't be as easy to bring them back in for questioning about stuff.
I mean, these ocean liners do stay out at sea for weeks and weeks upon a time. So being on the ship for a month or two isn't particularly unusual. I mean, it's unusual that you're just sitting there in Baltimore.
Yeah, right, exactly. With the crash bids going, sorry, my bad.
You can look out the window and see people going to restaurants and parks and having a nice time. And you're stuck there.
And what they're saying is, if nothing else, they want the phones to be returned and extensions for Maryland shore leave visas, which are also proving an obstacle to their escape. The unions are urging investigators to allow the expedited repatriation of members who are not required to stay for further questioning. They say, while we fully cooperate with the investigation, recent actions have caused undue hardship for the crew. They say the criminalization of the seafarers based solely on their position on board a vessel during an incident is a growing concern.
That's really incredible. I did not occur to me that they would still be on there.
Yeah. When I read that too, I'm like, what'd you say now?
Yeah.
They're still stuck on there?
I mean, I guess getting the boat out of the way would have been the first thing that they did, because I don't think the bridge didn't fall onto the boat, right? I mean, it's just stuck there.
It's just kind of stuck there because of come out of it, and they're moving everything around. Yeah, they say.
I would have thought getting the boat out of there would have been a priority.
Would have been number one. Instead, no, you get to sit there and think about what you did.
Look at this. Look at this.
It's the longest time out in the history of things. Think about what you've done. Yeah. Look at everything you caused around us. Now, you just sit there and you think about that.
It's like a dog that just crapped on the floor.
And by the way, you're not going to get any phones. We're going to confiscate that. We're going to shove your nose in this, and you got no way. The unions say we urge all parties involved to prioritize a fair and balanced approach, protect the rights of the seafarers, and ensures they're swift, if not required for further investigation. So they go on and on. The U.S. Coast Guard Admiral Shannon Gilraith said the crew is part of the ship, and their presence is necessary to keep the ship staffed and operational. So that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
They're part of it. They made this mess. When eventually we get around to getting this boat out of here, they're going to have to help us with that.
But they got to just sit there and look at it all?
Yeah, they said federal investigators found that the Dolly cargo ship experienced electrical blackouts 10 hours before leaving the port of Baltimore, and again just before the bridge crash. The remaining section of the Franklin Scott Key Bridge was blown up on Tuesday in a controlled demolition and a key step towards freeing the particular ship. It's likely to be floated this week, but it's unclear when it'll be able to make the nautical mile journey to port.
So it sounds like it is stuck there because of the debris.
Right, but they can't get the. Wouldn't you think the first thing they do is like help get these guys off the ship? But no, they're part of the ship. It's like they're the Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're part of the crew, part of the ship type thing.
I would have, like Homer, tipped back slowly and just disappeared into the bushes.
Yes.
If I knocked over a bridge, like, I didn't say anything. I was gonna.
Yeah. So
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. If you think your day is going bad or your week's going bad, just think about that. Thankfully, you brought up a good point that I didn't think about. Of they were going to be on an elongated journey probably anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like they've run out of supplies, and it's not like they haven't probably been brought food and other things onto the ship.
Yeah.
To help them out. It's not like they're just sitting there being like, you don't get to eat anything except what you had already in the pantry. If that runs out, screw you.
Yeah, you can put a slingshot on the shore and shoot them a sub sandwich or something.
But
you guys all right?
And as well as a burrito, because it is a sandwich. We talked about that yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, because that is now a sandwich, according to a judge out of Indiana. But
man, I can't believe that.
I feel bad for these mopes.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. It's like, I understand they messed up, but isn't enough after like a month? They're not, 6-7 weeks? They've just been not even going anywhere.
Right.
At least when you're sign up for that journey, you're like, all right, I'm going to see the world.
Yeah, you might see a dolphin or something.
Right. Instead, you're just sitting there in the Baltimore harbor going, great, awesome. This is fantastic.
Horns honking at you.
Right, exactly.
Hey, I can't get across that bridge because of you.
They're probably now a tourist attraction. Like, hey, let's go down and throw rocks at those guys.
Let's go taunt the Singaporean sailors.
Yeah, the poor guys sitting there because they ran into the bridge. Screw you guys. Now I feel even worse for them. Poor SOBs. Yeah. There's one of the things Bill Brunel from California can go visit.
That's right.
Exactly. One of the great things to do is you can go check out the people who ran over the bridge in Baltimore.
I mean, really, if you're like a 12-year-old kid in Baltimore, don't you just go and throw rocks at that boat?
Oh, you do. Yeah.
You knocked over our bridge.
My dad says you're the ruination of things.
Ping.
My dad says he's got another 50 minutes to work every day because of you, sorry SOBs.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a good group outing. That's something to do for the last day of school. Just let's go throw rocks at the boat, those poor mopes. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. We'll take our final break of the program. We come back. We discuss world records from time to time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just a cool feat and shouldn't be a world record. It's up for debate in this particular story. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. Final moments of the program on this Friday. Do want to remind everyone, Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. A new episode will be dropping. I know you don't like when I say that, but a new episode will be available. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear, I don't know, dropping.
Yeah.
Sounds you're not a rapper.
Well, you never know.
Sometimes dropping a diss track.
Yeah, the entirety of the podcast, though, is a freestyle.
Right.
So, but we're not spitting bars. We just kind of, talk about.
Yeah, it's a whole diss track on Sam Madonia.
Yeah, we're trying to get beef. It works for Kendrick and Drake. It should work. It should work for us as well. But that'll be later on this afternoon. Like, share, and subscribe. Find it wherever you find your podcasts, and like Mike and Molson on Facebook as well. World records. We've talked about it quite a bit. Some of them are cool, like party tricks. Some of them are actually world records. Where would you put this one? It is an individual, a Canadian man, Ivan Yu of Markham, Ontario, has earned the Guinness World Record for the fastest time building a Lego set of a certain amount of Legos. He built a 75,192-piece Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon in a record-breaking time of 7 hours, 36 minutes, and 37 seconds.
Man, I mean...
Is that a world record?
It's impressive.
Or is that just a party feat?
I don't think that's a party feat.
I think... I'm with you. I think it's probably world record worthy.
7 hours and 70,000 pieces?
75,192-piece Star Wars Millennium Falcon Lego set. And 7 hours...
That's pretty incredible.
36 minutes and 37 seconds. Is that
I think so.
That's world record worthy?
See, the thing with world records that that always gets me is there are a lot of them that are, like a couple of years ago in Kyle, Texas, they tried to organize all the Kyles to come to Texas.
They had, I don't know if you heard about this, on St. Louis Day 314. We talked about this extensively on the program because we are juvenile in our humor. There was the City Museum down in St. Louis was trying to set the world record for most individuals wearing underwear on their head at the same time in the same place.
That's not a world record.
And they were successful. They beat the world record by like 40 people.
So there's already another record out there?
There was already a record, and they went to beat that record. Now, I was wondering, and for individuals I read more about it, the follow-up that they did, they actually handed out underwear from a packet instead of you like bringing your own underwear to wear.
You didn't have to take your own off. And
no, you'd have to. No. They were handing out tidy whities to put on your head so that everyone could wear it at the same time.
So yeah, I mean like the Kyle, Texas thing, or this thing, or the most number of people to hug at the same time. That's just organizational skills. I mean, somebody who's got some good, a nice spreadsheet.
But doesn't this fall into it too? You have to be well organized.
No, that's a skill. That's a skill.
But you have to be organized to put it all together.
No. I mean, organized like a party organizer.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
Who can
not just organizational skills in general.
But you can arrange this to happen. Good promotion,
right?
And that kind of thing that you bring it all to I don't think is a world record. I don't think the longest time sitting in a chair. It's like
that's their stamina. But you're right. I don't know if that. How about like the longest plank? The person who planks the longest.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's a world record.
That's a world record. So if you have to put effort into it more than just promotional or just being, it's probably a world record.
You've got to show some sort of skill that maybe the average person doesn't have.
So you're okay with that guy in Wyoming when he comes up with things where he's just like, I don't know, flipping the water bottle and having it land on its, the right side up a number of times within an hour?
That's kind of cool.
Okay.
I couldn't do that. Could you do that?
I haven't tried.
I don't think you could do that.
I don't know. I probably would have to train a little bit. But sometimes when things like these come up, I go, how are all of us not in the Guinness Book of World Records for some reason or another?
There's probably something we all
can do. Right.
Yeah. The guy who we talked about an hour ago who hasn't taken a day off work in 47 years.
That should probably be a world record.
I think.
Do you think there's someone who hasn't taken a day off more than 47 years than Bill Bernil?
Yeah.
How dare you? Put some respect on Bill Bernil's name.
I don't know if it's record worthy.
47 straight years? Without a day off?
It's impressive.
It is impressive. That's what I feel about this. It's impressive that he put it all together in 7 hours. I don't know if that's a world record.
Yeah.
For putting together a Millennium Falcon. Like, very impressive feat. But I don't know if that should be a world record for doing it.
Jeez.
By the way, I got no use for Legos. I am not a Lego fan.
Really?
Never put together a Lego in my entire life. Even as a child. I got no use for don't tell me how to play.
Okay. Well, that's my issue with Legos, though, is that they come in a set of you can only make the Millennium Falcon. Back in my day, son, all you had was a box of Legos.
And you figured it out.
And you made something.
Yes. I did that. I don't know if that would be construed as me making something out of Legos, though. Like, I made it was very minimal effort. Yeah. Like, I found the wheels.
It was always a tower.
Yeah, I made a tower, right? I made a tower.
A really tall tower.
And I found the two wheels, and I found a square block, and like, vroom, vroom, here's a car.
Because but you have to use your imagination and do stuff.
Right.
If it's just, build this castle that's in the shape of a castle and use it to put the puzzle together, I think you're taking some of the creativity out of the process.
Right. So that's why I got no use for Legos.
I got no use for Lego sets.
But that's all Legos is right now.
Well, I know.
Do you like? So you like just? Would you
just a raw box of Legos?
Okay, but they don't. I don't know if they sell those anymore.
I don't know either.
I think Duplo sells those, but those are the little kid ones.
Yeah, Duplo.
I have no use for Duplo.
That's like eating a Hydrox Oreo.
Oh God! Yeah, the Duplo people.
Or Red Vines.
Yeah, the Duplo individuals had Hydrox in their home.
Why we're arguing about this?
Yes, exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So I don't know. I do think this is a record, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive feat, but I don't know if it should be.
I don't think you could do this. I don't think you could do this. And
I don't care to do this. Why would I want to do this? That's 7 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Look, I'll try to flip this water bottle, see if it works.
Not even close, bro.
See, that's hard.
See, let me try.
Yeah, give it a shot there. See if you can do this.
This is why we should have. I'm going to hit all the keyboards all at once.
Oh, don't do it on the keyboard.
That was being bad. Yeah, one more time. I didn't get much flip today. It was heavier than I thought.
Yeah, I know. See,
yeah, no, exactly.
That would be a
record.
Thing.
You know what? That doof in Wyoming can get his record for water bottle flips.
By growing your fingernails to an absurd length, I think, is a record.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Same with the hair, those people as well.
Right.
By the way, how long would it normally take to put this thing together? If the world record is 7 hours straight, 7 hours.
70,000 pieces?
75,192 piece Lego set. How long would it normally take?
That's a 2-week project at best. I bet.
I would imagine so. That's the other part of Legos that I can't stand. Mm-hmm. If it's supposed to be a toy that you play with, it shouldn't take that long for me to put it together, or unless putting it together is part of the playing with him.
Well, again, as a Lego purist, I've never purchased one of these, so I don't know. Do they come with instructions?
Yes. I
or is it like a puzzle and you just got to figure it out?
No, I think they come with instructions. I don't think it's like IKEA, though, where it's just a picture one. I think there's actual instructions there that you would put it together. I would hope so with that many pieces.
I think a puzzle would be an impressive world record. How quickly can you put this puzzle together?
That's a boring world record to have.
Boring, sure.
That's not one you put on the wall and say, "Look at me! I'm so skilled. I can put puzzles together fast."
For those crazy hyper-focused kids who can do Rubik's cubes.
Now that's impressive. That's a world record.
I think that's neat.
When they do it blindfolded behind their back, that's a record.
That's what I want to see in world records.
Yes,
I want to see the guy who can drag a Volkswagen across the parking lot with his teeth.
That's a really good one.
That's a world record.
Then there's the guy, of course, the way I'm going to end the show, as we always do. There's the guy who wrapped his dang around a pulley and use it to pull like stones across like 25 feet over in India.
That's not in the Guinness Book of World Records.
But it should be. It should be. They shouldn't discriminate.
What websites you're going to?
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be discriminating against that guy just because he used a different body part than his teeth.
Remember years ago they had to ban any act of gluttony. So like eating 4,000 goldfish. It's like someone's going to die.
Right. Well, there was the one about powdered donuts that seemed easy. It was like 7 mini powdered donuts in a minute was the record. Everyone was like, I can beat that. But you don't realize how dry your mouth gets after 3 powdered donuts.
Right, without inducing COPD.
Right, exactly. Whatever else may happen.
Can't breathe.
Screw you, hostess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
takes you out pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does. It may be more impressive than you think. I'm glad we had this ridiculous discussion.
I'm not.
If you'd like more of it,
is this show over?
Check out the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast later on this afternoon. More things like this.
Enjoy. Have a fine weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be